Alicia, how are you?
Hello there.
Hey, Harry. We typically would not be meeting tonight. We have suspended the capital raising, the underwriting meeting, and for a period of time while we went through some transition. And I had put out an interest on Slack to see if anyone would be interested in getting together tonight to discuss an underwriting committee. And I just seen on Slack that Daryl has, well, there's Daryl coming in right now. Hey, Daryl, I am confused. Just 1 second. I thought James had just posted that you were going to have yeah, James just posted on Slack that you were going to have a session, and or is that the link that he put, our normal Thursday night link? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
James,
fantastic. Fantastic.
James, go back to the original link. Go back to the original link.
Underwriting, GOB underwriting?
Yeah, go back to that one because I deleted the one that I posted. Yeah, I got Jim because I'm on now with Jim.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Okay, cool. Right. All right. Yeah, we didn't know we didn't know if it was going to happen or not. So just in case for backup, I kicked in the other link, my link. So
I'm glad that you did that, because I have been neck deep in trying to help get some deals done here, and that's last call with private equity that ran over into this one.
oh, that's not a problem. All right. So I got to shut down some of these pages. And now what I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to, oops, close that, close this. I just want to close everything so I can have, close that, close this. Okay, so good. Oh, right. All right, this should be coming back up. All right, so what I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to shut this down right here. Okay. I'm going to run over the underwrite just right quick, and I'm going to give a history or a little synopsis of what is going on. So I'm going to take you from the beginning. I'm going to bring you up to the present, and then I'm going to explain all these tabs down here, what they're there for, and where I need your help is going to be right here. This is where I'm going to need your help, because I already started. Oops, let me close this. We don't need that open. We don't need this open. This is what we need open. So I already started with part of the counter, and this, and then I just need to finish. So I'm not going to take up much of your time. I just want to see where I am with this particular property, and we're going to discuss some things that have happened with this particular property. So to kick this off, this property here, oh, close that, I don't need that, close that, I don't need that. So this particular property is 105 units. It is located in Dallas, Texas. It was built in 1963. This property has went through some serious renovations, plumbing, electrical. They do have a new boiler and chiller. The boiler and chiller that's sitting outside, that has to be removed because that was a temporary boiler, a temporary chiller, excuse me. But the original chiller is inside of a building that sits right next door to the chiller. So the seller initially wanted 2.3 million. I came in at 12.2 million. He then countered with 12.5 million. He then came back within an hour to an hour and a half and said 12.6 million. So I stuck to my guns and I said, no, 12.2. So then he said, we want to know if you will assume our loan, which is a bridge. I said, I cannot assume your bridge because my business plan calls for 5 years. So if you look at and I'm just going to jump down here right quick to show you what I'm talking about. If you notice, that's 5 years. This is 60 months. Now, this is a bridge. You probably say, well, Dad, bridges don't come in 5 years. Well, mine's is 5 years because I'm paying for 2 extra years. That's why mine's is 5 years. 5 years, 3 years, 36 months of interest only. If you notice, this is a variable. I'm paying for 2 extra years. So it's a 3 plus 1 plus 1. So if you look over here, I'm going to slide it across, you will notice that it says 4% for 36 months. And then after 36 months, on the 37th month, it goes to 4.75. And then and that's for 12 months. And then on month 49, it goes to 5.5. And then that's it. After 60 months, we will go ahead and, which is right here, we will sell the property, right? So I got with Julie on this because I said I need something where I could hold the property for 5, do what I need to do, and then sell the property. And I said, well, I'm willing to, if the numbers make sense, I'm willing to pay for those 2 extra years. Now, I have underwritten this deal very conservatively because the actual interest rate is not 4. It's actually 3.75. The other 2, that's 4.75 and 5 1/4. I underwrote those at what Julie told me to underwrite them at, but they may come in slightly less. Or if the business plan goes as written, we could probably get out before 5 years. We may be able to get out between the 36, between the 36 and the 60. We could probably exit out. And guess what? I would not have to use the other year. So I would not have to pay for it, right? But I did already budget that into the equation, which is right here. See, so if you look at my number up here, that's 6% closing costs. That takes into account my exit, that takes into account the 2 extra points, that takes into account all them other fees that that Julie has mentioned. And there's also an exit fee that I have to pay, which I take into account of the exit fee right over here. Right, where is it? There's an exit fee up here. I think I may have passed it. I think I may went. Oh, there it is. And 1 point for the exit fee. So all the fees, everything has been included with this package deal. So I resubmitted the LOI. I hang tough. However, they replied back. We have the another rent roll. We have another T12, well, which is only 1 extra month, right? Which is right here. So it was just an extra month, May. As for the rent roll, as you can see, I have the old rent roll, I have the new rent roll. Here's the new, this is the new rent roll. He has July 1, but it was printed June 16th. Now, all these tabs, this tab here is going to play a major factor in my replies to this counter offer. And I'm going to get into that, but I want to finish this. So I've color coded some things, but what I did, since this is the latest rent roll, this is the June rent roll, I made spaces and I added the May rent roll to this because I wanted to show you all something. One, for June, he bumps up the market rent to $1,350 from what was in May, $1,250. So I immediately asked the buyer broker, why did he do that? What supporting facts he have that the market rent is $1,350? Although I don't use this anyway, but I wanted to know, how are you going to just bump up the rent, bump up the market rent? Okay, no explanations. So then I wanted to compare the rents with each other to see if he inflated any. Well, he did. He inflated this one, right? He inflated that one. He inflated this one. He inflated this one. If you take a look at the leases did not change. Now that could be, they could be on a month-to-month, right? So he bumped the rent up. Well, if you're able to get 900, right? Because that's what he got for May and June. Why didn't he bump it to 900 when he already got 12 and 1350 here? So I said, okay, let me take a look. He did the same thing here, but the leases are the same. I said, well, maybe that's what that is. Maybe it's a month to month. Okay.
Or lease expiration date on those, Daryl?
Nope, no lease expiration date. All the guys are move in and the move out, and the move out is blank. So I did ask the broker, I said, what is this? Like, is this a year? Because how it did it, and I said to him, how does this change? He could not answer. Just $50, just bump it up. I don't know, he said. Okay, that's all right. So then, I know you're looking at some more color-coded stuff. Well, yep, there is some more color-coded stuff. The only thing this time, I have to do this. Okay. So as you can see, we have some vacancies. I understand people moved in June. I have no problem with that, none whatsoever. But if they moved in June and you're telling me that the market rent is 1350, 900. Now he came in at 900 on this one, but why didn't he come in at 900 on this one and 1350 on this one? I don't know. They just moved in.
Yeah, we're 202. Why did he lease it for so much less?
Exactly.
Daryl,
Mhm.
do you think they got any concessions?
I did not ask that question. And I that's a good one. I didn't even think about asking concession.
Mhm.
But if he, but would you
thing-
really need concessions if?
Daryl, the thing is, when you're trying to sell a property,
Yeah.
for the last 3 months that you're selling that property, you know that that trailing 90 days is the most important piece of the rent roll. And the way it's going to be underwritten by most lenders is they're going to annualize the income off of those 90 days, off the T3. And so they will literally stuff asses into seats in those last 3 months to fill up vacancies. It's much better to have a 900 number, even though you're saying market rent is 12, because it's so much better than 0.
Got you.
And the problem is once you take over, you'll find that if they, if they leased up in the last 3 months,
Yeah.
An additional 20 people, it's not unusual to go in and have 10 of those be skips right off the bat, day
Really?
one. Yeah. And it's not unusual to have problems with the tenants because they're not screening them. They're taking anybody that'll come in, to fill up the seat in the last 3 months and make the rent roll look good. And so you will be cleaning up the rent roll for probably 6 months.
Okay.
Once you take over. And that's true of almost any property in C-class properties. In particular, if they've not been doing good. In other words, if they had some vacancy issues before and now they're trying to sell to get rid of that bad debt, to get rid of the economic and physical vacancy, the last 3 months have to look good, and they'll make them look good any way they have to, even when it means that's a ghost in those 4 units.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. So, okay. Well, with that being said, just to show everyone, I did my homework. This here is a map of the properties in the area. So if you look at the top, subject property, this is subject property. And of course, this is just the subject property, 105 units, 700 square feet. And this parameter is the parameter that I input to collect my data on the properties that's close to this one, between 650, 750 square feet. I want to be comparative. So within a 1 mile radius, I did not have any properties. Okay. Now, if you look at my map, here's the 1 mile mark. And now remember this here, although I use a polygon, I overlapped this with a radius. So it's a curve like that, right? So 1 mile, there was nothing in this 1 mile, but between the 1 and the 2, between the 1 and the 2 mile, I got 1 property, and that was this one. So next, I had to open up a little more, 3 miles, and that's where I get these 2. Now, okay, so remember the curve is that way. So it's only 1, I think it's just 1 property, that's 2 miles. That's this one here. So, and remember the curve, okay? And then the rest of them are 3 miles, and that's the last one that's right here. So this is the year built right here, trying to stay in comparison with mines. And these are all just the rentable building allowance, the parking, dollars. If you notice, I have these color coded because these 3 here are the ones that's closest to the subject property. These 3 are the ones that's furthest away, right? So to support my original rent that's on my underwrite, which is $12.50, which is my target, to support that. All right. For the 2-bed right here, 2-bed asking rent per unit, this is where we're coming in. Now, I don't see a $13.50 nowhere in it, but I do see a $12.50 that I could possibly hit. And the property manager, Kimra Holcomb, she did confirm that we could most likely hit that $12.50. She said, "Dad, I believe you can hit that $12.50." Okay. So this is where we are, but the closest to the properties is coming at $12.24. And that one came in at $12.66. All right. So we believe through the plan, if we implement the plan, that we could hit the $12.50. But there are, out of the 105 units, 48% has been renovated. I would need to renovate the remaining properties. That's what I would need to do. Now the most important part, the heavy lift of this, has been done. The plumbing has been done, electricity, and the roof and the chiller has been taken care of. So I don't have to worry about that. I just have to really worry about those units and the exterior. All right. So with that being said, showing you now, if you need me to slide this bar across so you can see the rest of the dynamics of the numbers, just let me know. I'll slide the bar across left to the right or whichever way you want to go, so that you could take a look at this. But I also want to show you. Okay, so now that's what this tab here is for: rent, comps, and map. All right, so we already know about this is the T12.
Hey, Daryl.
Yes.
Just a quick one.
Sure.
If you go to the rent com,
this one?
Yeah, rent comps, please. So your average area is 700, I believe, for your apartment.
Hold on 1 second.
Square feet?
You mean square feet? Oh yeah, square. Yeah. Each
and,
one 700.
And this one, all of them, they're bigger than yours, actually. You know, if you look at the comparable ones.
Hold on 1 second, because I do use I drop 50 below and go 50 up. So they should not. It should be a. Where is my 700?
Yeah. If you go right.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, right here, the average unit square foot. See, I'm at 700. So I go between 650 and 750.
And
so that is comparative.
Okay.
So
you can go like plus 25. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Thank you. No, that's great. Thank you. Did you get this from CoStar, this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. I pulled all the numbers from CoStar. I did implement my filters, and everything. So I did, you know, I wanted to map out, because I wanted to map out to show everyone where the apartments are, how far they are from the subject property, and you know, and also to show everyone that it is comparative, and also to show you that my property, the subject property right here, the submarket is Lake Highland, and these are the 3 top Lake Highland properties. That's to my property. These 3 are Vickery. So these are closest ones to me.
Yep.
To my property.
Yep.
Daryl, did Kimra say anything about that $13.50 market rent? Did she even think that you could potentially get that?
No. Kimra didn't even see the $13.50 just happened late last night. She didn't even see the $13.50.
Okay.
And with that, I wouldn't even ask her about it, only because I pulled it from CoStar, and I believe even with looking at some Axiom metrics from another report, 1350 still wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't there. There's no way I could get 13. Well, you know, I don't want I don't want vacancies, but you know, I think they just boosting up the numbers a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Did you ask the broker or this, where he came up with that? How he was
Yes,
able to sustain it?
Yes, I did, because right here, yes, I did ask him that. And in my underwriting, I really want to. I was talking to my buyer's broker, and I mentioned it. He said that my numbers right here are speculation. Well, his 1350 is a speculation.
Yep.
You know, he said all of this is speculation. Well, I explained to him in my counter, and you know, I have to sometimes I have to remember not to take things personal. So I try to use a third person when I am approaching this and everything. But I did let him know that I deal with professional people. I let them know that I have a property manager. I spoke to the tax assessor. I spoke to my lender. See, I speak to professional people. This is not a speculation. This is what my property manager says that I'm going to wind up paying. Now, some may want to say we're still speculation, but I take it from my property manager. This is what I got to pay, right? Here, he said, this is wrong. My taxes. Well, this is from the appraisal district. And this is from 2021. Right here. This letter is your official notice of the 2021 proposed property tax appraisal. And they're telling me that my taxes are going to be $194,000.
Mm-hmm.
He said, so I did not reply back. All I said was, you know, I think I did reply back to this one, because I believe it or not, I was just getting started, but I did reply back right here, because, you know, as I'm trying to get things cranked up a little bit. But according to his T12 for May, if you look at May's T12, and I wanted to show this right here. If you look at his rents and compare it to May, there is an increase. Yes, it is. Okay, and that's probably because, you know, he filled up with 4 more people. He pumped up the rent to them extra other units, which increased the rent, which also increased his NOI, which now he wants me to pay $13.5 million.
How far are you off in price with him now? About 9. You were 12.6, right?
Right here. With the changes that were implemented, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk with the team here, because do you think I should not increase my price? According to the numbers, I am able to increase. I could probably go as high as 13, but I don't want to go high as 13. I want my numbers and whatever, and this offer is going to be solid. I'm not going to raise it. It's going to be as it is. He wants me to give 13.5 million, and in the counter, he wants 100,000 hard day one of the agreement, purchase sales agreement. All right, I'm not for that at all.
So, question. So you had a price originally with he quoted you as a price, and then when he came back with that extra month of the rent roll, then the price jumped to 13.5 based on that extra month.
Based on that extra income, it did increase. He was able to say, I want 13.5. However, I can't give him 13.5. The most I could give him is 12.8. if I pushed it, I could go to 13, but
I wouldn't
but
push
I
it
don't want
based
to
on
go.
those numbers.
I don't want to push it to 13. I feel safe here, but
Mhm.
how much of this can I trust of him to even offer 12.8?
None. Because is that the same guy you said that 2 deals fell out and they
Yes.
kept the earnest money?
Yes.
I would walk in a heartbeat.
Or stand pat and don't budge.
Well, may I say something here?
Of
if you
course,
don't mind?
Harry.
Yeah. So, okay. So what's the rent increase in Dallas in last 1 year right now? In that area?
Oh, in the area?
Yes, yes, in terms of statistics. And how much is the house prices that has gone up?
Okay, hold on 1 second. I will show you everything.
There is a report.
Okay. So let's go to the graphs, because this is where you're going to see your rent increases. So the market rents per units have been increasing over since what, 2011. This here is COVID. That dip is COVID right here, and as you can see, we are continuing to climb.
Sure. And how much is the growth of house pricing in the last 1 year for Dallas, for this area?
And hold on 1 second. Let me get to my demographics. Matter of fact, I should have that in my real estate market analysis. Give me 1 second, everyone. I should be able to open that up for my real estate market analysis.
Were you able to pull sales comps, Daryl?
Yes, I do. No, I didn't post the sales comps. I didn't post them, but I can easily post the sales comps. Give me 1 second. Let me open up the.
Sure. Take your time.
Let me see.
Yes, here.
I should have added this to. Okay, so the median household income has grown by 36% from 2000 to 2018. It's on a steady climb. The median, the city median house and condo value have increased 94% from 2000 to 2018. And the crime has been on a constant decline. The job growth, this is COVID, because I was able to go back into history and find out that their job growth is actually for March of 2020 was 2.3, and I look for a 2% annual job growth right here.
So, so in the year 2020, what's the increase in home prices? Because the market has gone up, right?
Yeah.
Right now, during COVID, and the rents are the trailing, index to that.
Hold on 1 second. So now I'm going to jump over here to CoStar. And how you said home value, right?
Yep.
Where's my home value? I don't want to use, here it is. Let me go to housing. Oops. No, that's not what I want. I don't want to go to city data because I know I could pull it from CoStar, but I may have to.
Do you want to know how much a percentage they've increased, or what the average price is?
Yes. So how much the home prices have increased. However, 26%. The rent has dropped. So the rent has dropped. So it's a trailing indicator, because if the home price goes up, it's going to catch up with that. So in your first year, you can have much more higher percentage increase because of that, because this is not a normal circumstances, you know, like right now during COVID.
Mhm.
The home prices have gone up significantly. The rent hasn't gone up. So if the rent hasn't gone up, so there is an opportunity actually, you know, to do something here, because your first year would be marvelous. If you look at all the cities right now, some cities have catch up to the rent has caught up to the home prices, the increase in home prices, but seems like Dallas hasn't. So there is an opportunity here to increase within 1 year or so, you know, you might increase your rent maybe 10%, you know.
So you think the 1350 is possible to hit?
I think there is more opportunity actually, you know. But this is your underwriting, you know. I mean, you look at that, you know. However, there is an opportunity because some of the market, the rent has, like Utah, you know, in some places, you know, the rent has, it's like St. George. If you look at this, how much rent increase that happened. So the home prices went up, the rent has gone up. Nobody has seen 15% rent increase, you know, in any of the cities before in the past. Some cities they caught up to in terms of increase in rent to the home prices. Some cities hasn't. So those are the cities actually, you know, in the next 12 months, those are the cities, you know, where you actually have an opportunity to seize. And Dallas seems like one of those. And there was one resource, you know. I'm just going through my my file. That's really good. Actually, it gives you the neighborhood increase in home prices, you know, in the building. Oh, that's all single family actually. It includes absorption and all that stuff as well. And it'll give you a graph. And if the rent has dropped, so that means there is an opportunity there.
Yeah,
Darryl, I think
rents have
Cam
not,
had it set up.
yeah, rents have not dropped, and your rent is not, your rent comparables are not single family homes. I understand, Harry, what you're talking about in regard to home values going up, but you're competing against other apartment units. You're not competing against single family homes. And from the standpoint of that monthly market rent. And I can tell you for a fact that rent rates in Dallas are not going down. If the overall average in CoStar says that they have, that's based upon an average of non-collected rents, not on monthly rents.
Okay.
So I know owners, I know tons of owners in Dallas, and not a single one has been offering concessions or has been offering or has been renewing at lower rental rates.
Okay, so if it is not decreased, that means, let's say if it went up only 1% and the home prices went up by, let's say 15%, then there is enough room in the next 1 year to bump up the rents.
What's the area median income, Darryl?
Within 1 mile,
1 mile, yeah.
the area median household income is 51,538.
Just a quick comment is, I get what Harry is saying regarding the potential of rents to increase, because just like here in Phoenix, we know that rents are going to continue to rise for the next about 3 years. My concern is the size of the square footage of space, which you said on average it's 700.
Yeah, it's 700 solid.
Right. So there's only a certain amount of room you can increase rates because of the size. So I guess my question is if you branch out a little further and you go to 5 to 10 miles, can you compare what the household income is? Is it the same or similar? and see how those rents are. And then what's closer to those areas, like is this property closer to larger companies that have, you know, they're more dense with employees? Like what's going on in that area that would cause you to be able to charge that higher rent to make yours look better than some of the competitors that have lower rents?
Okay. So I do know that in this area, where's that hospital? Let me zoom out. Matter of fact, let me give me 1 second, please. Let me put the aerial view. Here we are. Okay. So this is the subject property. And if I'm not mistaken, there's we could go underneath to get to the hospital. I got a feeling that hospital is over here.
Daryl, what was the submarket name again?
Oh, this is the Lake Highlands.
Lake Highlands, okay.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, that hospital is over here. This property on this side of the highway, you got the hospital, you have a hospital over here. And I do believe there was a medical center even on this. What is this right here? I do believe there was a medical center over here. Give me 1 second, everyone. I just put my filter on and help me out here so I won't look crazy.
Can you do points of interest? Because that may show you what that is.
Sure. Okay, so where's the hospital?
Good call, Alicia.
The hospital is about 5 blocks south of the property and on the other side of the highway, from my recollection.
Okay, so I got to, yep, here it is.
There is a large medical center within a couple of blocks of it.
Yep.
Right here. The Medical City Children's Hospital, Forest Lane Pediatric, Dallas Air Institute is right here. And the property is right here, right there. So we could come straight down and come under and be at the hospital. And then on this side, of course, we have the eateries. You have the Texas Instruments. You know, that's a calculator, the technology there. We also have the LBJ Central right here. All right. And here's the Postal Service. Oh, and there go Chick-fil-A.
And Olive Garden too.
And Olive Garden. You know, if you got Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, you know you're in a pretty good area.
Well, on the other side of the highway,
yes,
the rents and the average income, average home values, everything is much, much higher on the other side of the highway. And that's why you've heard some people say, Daryl, that the best use of that property is to tear it down and put in a new A-class asset on that property. But I think that's way too aggressive at that price point. You couldn't pay that much for the lot and do that. But it's hard. The nice thing, you can't compare yourself to the other side of the highway, but you're so close, you can get people that just, they would like to live over there, but they're just not quite there. They just don't have enough money to live there, but they can live in very close proximity with your property. And so I think that's the allure. But if you do a drive-by, if you do even a Google Drive on the 3 or 4 or 5 blocks that are east of that property, you can tell it's a very, very different neighborhood. I don't remember let's see, 75243. Let me see if I can find that.
Wait a minute. Let me open another CoStar.
Is that a gated community?
No.
Nope. No.
Would it be worth putting in a gate?
I don't think crime is the issue there, Alicia. The property, though, a few years ago, quite honestly, was a slum. You know, they've changed the tenant base quite a lot already, but they've also had difficulty leasing up because, you know, this has gone a dramatic image makeover. I mean, dramatic image makeover. If you look at the Yardi matrix for this property, it doesn't even look like, you wouldn't think it's the same property.
Has it changed its name?
Yes, a couple of times. It's had 3 name changes in 3 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
Now, I would like to show everyone something here. This is what Jim is talking about. And this is the reason why, if you notice on my map, I never crossed the highway. I never crossed the highway. This property is right here. That's mine.
And what are the market rents on that side, Daryl, on those A-class properties?
Look at this property here is 1998, and look at the rent, 1857.
And what is the one right above it?
And
oh, that's a 1 bedroom?
That's a 1 bedroom. The
Yeah.
2 bedrooms are 1857. And then you have, let me close this because I could type in, here's go to Briscoe Apartments. Let's see, how old is the Briscoe Apartments?
That square footage is larger too.
Yeah,
So
yep.
everything about the apartments on the other side is going to be much, much nicer.
Yeah.
Everything. And that's why you're not comparing. What you're really asking yourself is, if I can't afford to live there, how much am I willing to pay to move into really just a basic apartment? This apartment has no amenities. It's going to be smaller. It's going to be older. Everything about it is going to be less. So just that factor alone, you have to discount the average asking rent. These other properties, what they do is they anchor the high end of the market. So in your mind, just ask yourself, how much more would I be willing to pay to get this, B or A class apartment with all these amenities and, a much nicer, everything's newer. So that's kind of your limit. It's not just area income. It's not just home prices. Those A class properties are a limit. They're a limiting factor.
Daryl, can I ask you
also opportunity?
Can I ask you a few questions? This is Cam.
Sure.
I know we're talking about a lot about hypothetical stuff. I just want to ask some facts about what the property is right now. So can you tell me how much per unit the property is going for and what's the comps for that?
Per unit price for this particular property, I'm coming in at 121.
And what's the comp?
And the comps are coming in, hold on one second, sir.
Thank you so much.
I will tell you that right now. Oops, wrong button. $155.
Okay. So I mean, you're counting on Dallas to grow over the next 5 years. And I'm sure why you're concentrating so much on rent growth. This is not even, I mean, I live in Orange County. There's Class A apartment, there's Class B and C, and there's no problem renting any of them because Orange County is a great market. And I think Dallas is a great market. So I think there's going to be always tenants. I mean, that's not an issue. There's always going to be, people are going to be always needing Class C apartments. So, I mean, but I think so basically the comps are, you're purchasing this at below comps then, right? Basically,
Yeah,
that's what,
if I could get, yeah.
So I mean, right there, I mean, I think that's 50% of the game, right? I mean, you're getting, yeah, I mean, it is, I mean, these are facts. The second thing is, how much is the vacancy for this particular property right now?
All right, hold on one second for me, Kim, I'll tell you. Okay, the vacancy right now for this particular property is 11.8%, and it's right here. I will show you that.
And I think Dallas is around 90%, right? Vacancy for the entire?
Here's my vacancy, 11.4%. Now,
Okay.
For last month, the vacancy was 12.8. It has come down to 11.4 because he has put in some people. So it has, some of the units have been taken offline.
Do you know what the peak vacancy during COVID, like during April was?
Hold on a second, I could tell you. For this property?
Yeah.
For this property, well, I don't have it. Well, let's check here.
That's a big market stress test for this property, right? If the tenants are not happy, they're going to get the hell out during the.
Yeah, you got a point there. So the vacancy for the property, according to CoStar, is I already know it's not 14.1. That part is not true, and that's only because I know it's 11.8 because I have the rent roll.
Okay.
But for during COVID, that's the daily vacancy rate. Well, the property was going through renovation. This is the property here, but it was going through renovations. Now, let me jump on this side right quick. I'm sorry. Let's jump on this side because this is the vacancy rate by year. And let's open this up and let's do not a 10-year, but a 3-year. Okay. And doing, so as you can see for Dallas, and for Dallas Fort Worth during COVID of 2020, they were holding steady.
Yeah. Now,
right here.
Yeah. Now, maybe if you don't mind asking the broker how much the peak vacancy was during COVID and what was the rent collection. Now, let me ask you a question. You said 48% were renovated, 52% were not renovated, and those are the ones that you have to do the interior exterior renovation. What percentage of the renovated units? The vacancy is the proportion of the vacancy between the renovated and non-renovated units. That means, you know, if you're going to renovate and it doesn't make a difference in the market for the tenants, and you know what I mean? I mean, what kind of tenants are you attracting to the renovated units? Is there room for? So that's another question that's maybe hard to find out from CoStar, but the broker may be able to tell you. Right. So that would be another question I would have. As far as, I mean, you're getting at a really good cost base. I mean, I don't know why they're selling at 30,000 below market, because Dallas is such a hot market. I have so many friends in Dallas, and they're just dying to invest in Dallas. I mean, it's a great place. I mean, those are the questions. I mean, and then ultimately, what's your business plan? I mean, let's say, you know, how much you want to spend on CapEx? How much equity? Obviously, I'm assuming you're syndicating this. How much are you trying to raise? Sounds like you're just doing the interior and exterior renovation, right? So what's your CapEx budget and what's your, I don't know whether that's for this conversation or not, but for this talk, but you know.
Well, we could talk. Yeah. So here's my CapEx budget. Since the heavy lift was done, which is electricity, plumbing, chiller, I think the roofs, I'm focusing really a lot on the inside, right? So since I'm focusing a lot on the inside, I budgeted for $6,000 per unit interior and $2,000 for exterior. My business plan is acquire the property, renovate the units, bring it up to market, exit out in 5 years. I'm saying 5, but if I could exit out before, exit out before.
Hey, Daryl, could you save some money by maybe CapExing or renovating maybe 60% of the remaining properties rather than bringing them all current, leaving some for the next guy?
Yes, I could do that. I could do that instead of renovating the remaining properties. You know, reduce the renovation number and leave some, as we say, meat on the bones. I could do that. And also, just to let everyone know, I know that we don't have COVID reserves right now, and this is a bridge, right? So with bridge, you don't have a reserve. However, I did factor in right here a reserve anyway.
What's your going in cap and exit cap?
The going in cap on this particular asset, I do believe is a 4.6. My exit cap is
Wow.
going to be a 5.8. The market cap is 5.3.
5.8. And I would imagine the exit, the cap going in cap is low because of just a low NOI, I would imagine, or is it because the price is high? Doesn't sound like the price is high, so it would be the NOI is low, right?
Right. So what I did to find out what my going in cap, you know something, I got to update that, because I checked my going in cap before the new numbers. Now I need to check my going in cap after these new numbers. That is after he gave me the T12. That is the May numbers.
T3.
Yeah. So now I need to check my going in cap.
It could be lower.
Yeah. So yeah, I got to check what my going in cap is. So, any other question? Because now we're going to.
Cam,
Oh, it's 8
Cam.
o'clock. So now.
Cam had another question.
Oh, Cam, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I have to put my hand down. I apologize. That's
Oh, okay.
sorry about that.
So now this is the question that I could really probably use some help on, only because sometimes when I get to writing, I forget that I must stay very calm, and I start using stuff like you and me, but I'm a very professional person. I don't do that. I'm gonna tell you right now. You can read all of this right here. I never say you. I never say whatever. So anyway, so out of just it's 8:07. I don't want to keep no one past. I just really wanted to hear your views.
Daryl, who put those boldface type in there? Is that from the broker?
Yeah. Yeah. He You mean, oh, this part right here?
No, this is speculation. One of the
yeah, no, he did this. Yeah.
You're wasting your time lowballing in Dallas. Is that him too?
Yeah, he put that there. He put this here. But when I came in at 12.2, he was asking 12.3. So that's why that's 12.2. And now he says that's what he put there. Price is 13.5 right here. And now this is my cover letter. That's all this is. This is just my cover letter. This is the LOI right here. He lined through a lot of stuff. See, now he's right here. Excuse me, 13.1. He wants me to use his title company. As I stated in my counter, I will the title company that will be used will be Axiom. If y'all know about Merle Callister, the attorney, and I do believe Merle is in Dallas. Am I right, Jim? Merle Callister? Yeah. He's in Dallas, Texas. That will be the attorney that will draft up my paperwork and will handle the title search. I'm not using their people.
There, one last thing. Do you have the OPEX line items for the OPEX? Is there any opportunity to save on, increase the NOI by decreasing some of the expenditure or expenses? Or
according to Camera, my underwrite right here was like that was point on, and because see, take a look at see this is their numbers.
Okay.
See.
Okay.
So these are my numbers, my underwriting numbers. Kimmer reviewed that. She said these are dead on. Just leave this,
How much is insurance?
Insurance $495 a door, and that is coming from JT. That is coming directly from JT.
Do they have rubs? Or the 700 utility. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. Oh, they have rubs up there. It says rubs over there.
Yeah, but
Oh,
they
no, they
didn't,
don't.
on the T12, it wasn't
Oh, I
accounted
see.
for.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here, earnest money, they want 300,000, and they want he just redlined all of this. COVID restrictions are lifted. Equity, he just lined through all of this. Due diligence, he wants 100,000 to go hard day one. That's of the purchase agreement. But then he wants a 72-hour notice for me to get to for the access. He lined through a lot of my conditions of close. Closing 30 days. This well, you know, closing and closing costs. Once due diligence is done, what have you seen, Dallas, for closing after once the due diligence is done?
What's the question again, Daryl?
Time frame after due diligence. How much time after due diligence that you have noticed in Dallas it takes to close?
From the time you engage your lender and you pay them your fee, you
Yeah.
should be able to close within 60 to 70 days.
Okay. So this is where he wants me to make that 30 days.
Yeah. After due diligence.
Yeah, after due diligence.
Right. So that's probably what, and your due diligence period was 30 days?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's probably doable.
Okay. Okay.
But it's really putting a lot of pressure on you. And then they're probably going to they'll give you an extension, but then they're going to want another 30 grand hard money or, you know, something along those lines probably. And so it's really to paint you into a very tight box. And so you really want to talk to your lender and feel and get a lot of, oh yeah, don't worry about it, Daryl, we got it. It's not a problem. You know, if you get any waffling, then I would say, no, I can't give you 30. You know, we might be able to do 45.
Okay. Have you, Jim, I know you have a lot of experience with Julie and Old Capital with the bridges. Have you seen any time there that they may have waffled?
This property has been a tough property for them to get the financing on. Each time it's come up for sale, it's gotten a little bit easier because they've weeded out a lot of people that didn't want the property. So I think if Julie tells you she's got somebody for the property now, you know, I would want to question her on it. But if she says so, I would be pretty confident that she's got it done.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay then.
And remember, there's a couple of things that strike me about this LOI. You didn't come up with the 12.3. And offering 12.2 on a 12.3 is not a low ball. Offering 11 would be a low ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, but you're not going to get anywhere arguing with the broker. I mean, that pisses me off, but you're not going to get anywhere arguing with the broker.
Right.
But I would politely remind him, and that's probably exactly the verbiage I would use. I would politely remind you that I didn't come up with the 12.3 number.
Correct.
Oh, you
absolutely correct.
Yeah. And, you know, right underneath where he said low balling won't get you anywhere, you know, that you guys, it's unethical to continually raise the price, you know, when I put in an offer.
Correct.
I consider that unethical, you know, and you can't say it that way, but you need to find a polite way to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And also I'd find a very polite way to say, and, you know, this is a very small world. And so I want you to know that I'm aware of the deals that have fallen out and the hard money that was kept by the seller. Because the seller has kept two different buyers hard money. With that in mind, I am not willing to put hard money day one. My hard money would have to be after due diligence. And if I had the money, I wouldn't be afraid of, how much were they asking for the EMD?
EMD money came in at 300,000, 100,000 goes hard day one.
So I wouldn't be afraid if I had 300,000. I wouldn't be afraid of saying, I'll give you 300,000 EMD, hard money after due diligence.
Okay.
But if you don't have it, then obviously you can't do that, because you're tripling your risk, but you're putting your risk after due diligence. So if you find anything in due diligence, your money's not hard and you can get it back.
This case, day one, he's considering at the acceptance of the LOI is when he's considering day one.
No, at the acceptance of the purchase and sale agreement.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that to me, for the seller is making money off of, they're trying to get to back to their original purchase price just by keeping hard money.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, and I would find a polite way of saying, why are we not allowed to take any pictures? Why have you had 2 other contracts fall out? And I don't want to hear that it was financing, because I already know that there were legitimate financing offers on the table. And if it is, even if it is financing, okay, so you're telling me none of the lenders want a loan on this property. So you have to be polite. You cannot, you know, but you cannot be bullied either.
Right.
And to me, this sounds a lot like bullying.
Darryl, what was the time frame between your offer of 12.2 to his raise of the purchase price to 13?
Well,
it was less than 3 hours.
Yeah, he raised it, what, 3 times already?
Yeah,
James. So the first raise was he offered it to Darryl for 12.3. Darryl said, okay, I'll take it at 12.2. His immediate response was, no, it's 12.5.
Right.
And then within an hour after that, it was 12.6.
Yeah. And you kept meeting him, just about meeting him each time until this final raise of 13.
Now I told for the other offers, I said no, it's 12.2. I let it stay. Because even Jim said, you know, he told me, Jim, I spoke with Jim. Jim, stick to your guns. I stuck to my guns. I said no, 12.2.
And
so,
my gut tells me, Darryl,
yeah,
they know they're having a very hard time selling this property. And there's something going on that we don't know, and we probably won't find out until we get into due diligence. But you know, and the other 2 offers did come in higher.
Yes.
You know, so I do know that they did come in higher. But if you're getting back to 13, you're right back to where the other offers were. You're right back to where the other ones were. And so, you know, I don't think, and you know, you're playing poker. You know, I don't think this property is going to run away from you. You know, I think they intentionally got you started at 12.3, and they're just going to, it's in the car business, we used to call it the blink test. And so they're waiting for you to start blinking. And what I mean by that is, give you an example. You walk in, you see this beautiful car on the showroom floor, and you like it. You ask me how much it is, and I say it's 12 million, Darryl. And you don't blink. And I say, but we've got that new air conditioning system that we're putting in, so it's going to be 12.3. You're still not blinking. And we increased NOI, so it's going to be 12.8. And you're still not blinking. And because your offer, you know, was lowball at first, and you know, we're concerned about whether or not you're going to carry this through, we want 13.1. Now you're blinking. Okay, they know that's the blink test. Darryl's maxed out at 13.1. Otherwise, they're just going to keep adding on.
I think my response would be, Hey, where are you getting 13.1 at? Because when we initially started this conversation, I asked, you answered, the whisper price was 12.2. My offer stands at 12.2.
Well, it was 12.3 and Daryl came in 100,000 under, and they accused him of lowballing on 100 grand on a $12 million asset, which is ridiculous.
And I may have missed this, but what, do they have a loan on this property? And if so, where is it at? And have they cashed out any funds?
As far as I know, it's a bridge on it, because they asked if I would assume the bridge. And I told them that if the bridge was not 5 years, we're remaining, because that's what my business plan calls for, that I would not be able to do it. They suddenly dropped the issue of me assuming the bridge altogether. They never even mentioned it anymore.
And it could be, Daryl, that, you know, part of this price increase is a prepayment penalty for the bridge. And they're just trying to, you know, recoup it. But I'll also remember we had a conversation that I think it was on that podcast with Freddie Mac, that they said the average price increase in DFW was 8% per year on these assets.
Right.
She's owned this asset for what, 18 months?
Yeah, something like that.
And
if it's a bridge, yeah.
Yeah, and she's, I think, more than double what she paid for it. So if she paid 6, let's just say for the sake of argument, 6 million, and you raise that by 8%, raise it by 10% per year, so that it's easy math. So she should get, after 1 year, 6.6, right?
Mhm.
And after the next year, she should have what, roughly 7.5?
Yep. Mhm.
And so where do they get 13 million from? You know, where are you pulling that number from? I know for a fact that prices have risen 8% per year. So how are you coming up with a number double in less than 2 years? Again, it's not going to get you anywhere making an argument
Right.
with the broker. So you've got to find a polite way of coming back and say, you know, hey, weren't the average price increase over the last 2 years 8% per year? And didn't they pay 6 for this? Okay, yeah, they paid 6, but they put in 1.5 capex. Oh, yeah, that's right. So that would take them to 7.5, which means their asking price should be how much? Using 8% per year over 18 months?
It's not.
Well, I don't want your answer. I want the broker's answer.
Yeah.
Right. 12
Jim,
million.
Is that national percentage or Dallas?
No, that was
Dallas.
I don't remember if it was Dallas proper or if it was DFW or if it was Texas.
Gotcha.
But I also just found, Daryl, I was just, as we were chatting, I was Googling noodling that, not that I wouldn't move forward with this,
Right.
but I'm just telling you, you know, looking at that zip code,
Yeah.
that had the lowest rents in DFW. Average rents are 983 in that zip code. Now, what is that being pulled from? What is that metric from? I don't know.
I could find out. I'll find out.
I mean,
definitely will.
Yeah, and the other thing to remember is I know you only pull comps in that area, which is what you absolutely would normally do. But to build your argument with this broker, you can remind him that rents in that zip code are 983. And you can also remind him, look, I did the rents for all C class in DFW. And here's where the rents are, even in the great neighborhoods.
Okay.
Average rents are 1243, I think, across all of, I think that was across all asset classes.
Okay.
Let me look again and see, but yeah, the highest rent in the submarkets was Flower Mound at 1,600. And let me see if this was across all asset classes. Yeah, they're not mentioning asset class at all. So this is across all asset classes.
Okay.
Dallas proper, all of Dallas. And there's, there's some really nice neighborhoods in Dallas, is 1,270. I'm trying to find one of the, okay, Mesquite is considered to be one of the lowest areas, like rents.
Right.
The lowest area you can find anywhere close to Dallas is Mesquite, and that comes in at 1042.
Okay. So Jim, let me ask you a question. Do you think, and give me your opinion, for that purchase price, should I hold steady?
At what number? At
Should
12.2?
Yeah. Or do you think I should, if I'm able to increase it a little?
I think that I wouldn't say anything at all about the price, as far as your price. And I wouldn't mention his prices either. I think I would just make my counter arguments.
Yeah.
As politely as I could, point by point by point.
Okay.
Let him know that you know that financing has been difficult on this property. Why? Make him answer. You know that the property's fallen out of contract and the seller has kept hard money on at least 2 different people that you know of.
Right.
Is there even more? Why? You know that the average rents across DFW, even in the best neighborhoods, are X. And I would remind him that this zip code has the lowest rents in all of Dallas at 983 average rents. And then I would further remind him that immediately across the street is a distraction. I would further remind him and ask him, there's something here that seems puts me my spidey senses on alert, if you will. I don't know the way to phrase it, but the fact that we weren't even allowed to take pictures on the property is very disturbing. It raises all kinds of red flags.
Okay.
And I wouldn't accuse anybody of anything. Said, look, my LOI, I tried to outline in great detail how I arrived at that number. I feel that my number is spot on. I gave you backing evidence for every one of my arguments. So if you don't want my offer, if you don't want me, to compete on this property, I totally understand and perfectly willing to move on to the next property. Don't want to argue with you. Don't want to, I want to buy properties in Dallas. I don't want to create bad relationships.
Right.
And if he comes back and says something, well, then you can't be lowballing. I would say, you know what? That is very offensive. You started the price. You set the price. I didn't. And even at your price, I struggled to get there. And now you want to continue to raise these. And not to mention that the rent roll is kind of suspicious.
Do you think he could be trying to recoup prepayment penalties since you told him that you can't assume his mortgage? That's a good point.
I'm trying to remember. I think you can ask Julie, but the prepayment penalties drop off pretty fast on a bridge loan. So I don't know why there would be really high ones on this bridge. What I would say, Daryl, is I'm willing to speak to your bridge lender. I'm willing to speak to them. And I would speak to them. I'd get on a phone call and I'd say, what are the prepayment penalties on this? What are the rates on this? Do you like the deal? There's been a lot of improvements. I want to put a lot more improvements. I know, Dallas is just on fire. I know across the highway that, the area median income is just unbelievable. And the rents are super high. I know that's not our competition, but, we're in a great location. This is an absolutely phenomenal location at the intersection of two highways.
Okay.
So,
And if that bridge lender wants to re-up and give you, say, look, you're going to have to be willing to drop the prepayment penalties in order for me to get this deal done. If you would like to re-up with me as my bridge lender, if you'll give me the terms that I need and make sure that the terms are better than what Julie can offer you.
Right.
Yeah, there's no sense doing it if you don't have an advantage.
Still, remember that Harlingen property was a lot less than this, and the mortgage had to be assumed. And if it wasn't, if you came in with new debt, you were responsible for 1.5 in prepayment on a property that was 6.5 million.
And thank you for saying that, James. You reminded me of something else. Daryl, look at CoStar. Look at the average price per door across all C assets in DFW.
Okay.
I think you're going to find the price per door. This guy is asking for a lot of money. Can it be done? Can you make it happen? I think you can. But every penny you push this makes it harder for you.
Okay.
And I think that there's times where you need to be myopic and look only at that 1 mile. There's other times where you need to look at the broader market and say, look, there's 1,000 other neighborhoods in Dallas. This is not in the top half of the best neighborhoods. It's in the lower half by location, by zip code. And these other neighborhoods are how much per door? And average rents are how much in those neighborhoods and those submarkets?
Okay.
For a C-class asset of this age and with no amenities and of that square foot. So I would put the age and the exact square foot within, even lower it to 25, 675 to 725, and see how many of them fall in there in all of DFW.
Gotcha.
So Jim, sorry to interrupt, but so you don't get $150K door then for that area?
Not for that asset class.
Oh,
and
you
not
don't?
in that area. Absolutely not.
What do you get if you don't mind me asking?
Well, a year ago, I could have bought that asset for 70 or less than 75 a door.
Sure.
I could have bought that
really?
asset for 50 a door because that's what they paid for it.
Oh, wow. So I mean, yeah, I mean I thought it was 30K below market, but I guess not.
To your point, Cam, Dallas DFW is probably the hottest apartment market in the country. And if Daryl paid 13 for this, I absolutely believe he could raise the capital for it because everybody wants to invest in Dallas. But that just because you can raise the capital, just because everybody is scrambling to give you their money, does not mean you're going to have a successful business plan. If you get too far out over your skis, no matter how many people want to give you their money, you still want to make sure that you're really confident that you can hit the returns. Because if not, they're, okay, they own an asset in Dallas and they're going to badmouth you every month that you don't hit your number because they're going to go, Jesus Christ, this guy's an idiot. He's in Dallas and he's not hitting his numbers. Nobody misses their numbers in Dallas. Well, number one, that's not true, but that is what the perception is going to be.
Good point.
It's a great tool CoStar does.
Okay. Within 3 years, I mean, yeah, hold on a minute. Let me go back. Let me take this back. Give me 1 second. I want to change this. Let's go see if I could just do 1 year. No, let me do 2 years. All right, so 2 years. I do have at least 4 properties there. For that particular area, price per door is coming at 142.
Daryl, that's why I said do all of DFW, all
Yep.
C-class assets.
Gotcha. I definitely will. I'll
Because
do that.
you're in across the even in that side of the highway, there was a couple of A-class properties in your triangle.
$80, 2016, 63. I could take that out, take this out. I still need to add another property. That's not enough. I need 1 more. Okay. Oh, can't use 2 of the same. That ain't all right. I'll do this tomorrow, everyone. I'll get that, and I'll get all the Dallas C class. I am going to ask a favor of Alicia. if maybe you would help me with the wording a little bit, so I could be polite.
Sure, no problem.
All right.
Hey, Jim, did this work out the way we set this up tonight?
Actually, this was perfect for what we would traditionally want Thursday night to be.
Okay.
And we just didn't get enough people signing up. I don't care if it's Daryl every single Thursday night, because at least I know we're going to have good conversations.
Yeah.
But I thought we were going to try to get to talking about the underwriting committee. And I was hoping there would be all the people who had spoke up as interested would show up. And I don't think that happened.
No, well,
this was kind of last minute, right?
No, because the underwriting committee, I wanted to get a date that will coincide with Jim's schedule, and then I was going to send out a notice to all those that responded to me that wanted to be a part. I was going to email them that on this day and this particular time, we're going to have the underwriting committee. That's the only reason why people didn't show up today, because I wanted to get with you, Jim, well,
let's set it up for next Thursday, the same time.
Okay, that's it. I'll send it out. That's all I need to hear.
Jim, are you always the host? I mean, if you can't make one, are you able to pass on the hosting?
What? I need some tech support and trying to figure out. Maybe I just need to pick. I thought there's a setting, and a matter of fact, I know there is. I just haven't figured out where it is. I thought I had it set up where even if I don't show up, everybody that's on the call sees each other. It's like everybody comes into a waiting room and they can see each other while they're in the waiting room.
Right.
So you can conduct the entire event even without the host, because you're in the waiting room's is always open, I guess.
Right.
But I haven't figured out how to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, when you schedule a Zoom call, at that time, there's an option that you want people to join in the waiting list, or they can join in at any time. So you check join it at any time.
I think I have done that in my settings, but
Okay.
it's still apparently not working. Let me check again real quick while we're, I know this can be time
And at the
consuming.
bottom, there is another option called alternate host.
It won't let you do that unless you have a what is the account called? You have to go up to a much higher level account
Oh, okay.
for that, like a school or a big corporation or a college type of account.
I see.
Let's see here. I need to go under.
Because when we were doing
That
them
was
weekly,
great.
I'm sorry, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Go ahead, Harry. I was saying, Jim, we were doing them weekly. You were on every time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can designate somebody as like a backup or a co-host. And if you don't show up, I think they can.
I know you can if you have a school account, that one of the big accounts.
I think the main host has to be on and do it, the designation
Right.
at the time of the call.
You can hand over hosting after you get on,
Right.
but that would still mean, and I've done that, before. All right. So on the waiting room options, I have everyone will go into the waiting room. And let's see, edit options. Who should go in the waiting room? Everyone.
Can you set up just for that meeting?
Here we go. If the host and co-host are not present, or if they lose connection during a meeting, there's a checkbox that I do not have checked that says move participants to the waiting room if the host drops unexpectedly.
Okay, so give me one.
But I don't, does that mean they will leave the meeting? Because I know Julie dropped off of hers the other night, and it didn't seem like any of us went anywhere. We just stayed in the main room.
Because Julie usually has a backup. She usually has a co-host.
Well,
you don't want to create a waiting room, actually, so
I do have a waiting room.
So uncheck that.
Oh, uncheck the waiting room.
Yes, because if you create a waiting room, the user only user admitted.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. My waiting room is not checked.
Not checked. Okay.
Please, and require.
What about if for that specific meeting only, since it's recurring, are you able to allow the participants to join at any time?
And under meeting, oh, sorry. There is a meeting option under video and audio. It says allow participants to join anytime. You have to check that.
Hold on just a second. Bear with me for a second here while it updates this one setting. It, for some reason, is really going slow. Because I think I have right now that they can join up to 15 minutes early.
So there is an option called allow participants to join anytime under meeting option. That's the first option.
As soon as this thing unlocks, I will try to find that. I appreciate the help.
Alicia.
No, that's okay. I said the same thing, so it's all good.
So.
Okay, so I was at waiting room option, so I'm assuming I need to keep going down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meeting authentication, approval, encryption, host video, participants video, audio type.
Meeting option.
All right, here, allow participants to join before host. I have that turned on. And then I have it checked for, hold on here. Well, now, okay. So I should do it anytime?
Yeah, anytime.
15 minutes.
Anytime.
Anytime. Okay, save that. something went wrong. Please refresh your page. It did not take. It did not like it.
Because if you want to control it, Jim, you can always put a password that says, you know, like underwrite or something that refers to that specific meeting.
Well, I have no problem creating. You're saying I can have a password specific to that meeting and then share the password with a few other co-hosts. Is that what you're saying, Alicia?
Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I might have to figure that out. What is going on here? How come I can see things moving in the background, but it won't let me out of this. Per new security measures, you cannot change this setting. What? All meetings are secure. Oh, that's a security setting. I wasn't trying to change that.
I pulled up all C-class properties in Dallas, and the market sales price per unit is 95 per door.
Was my suspicion was 85 to 90.
Holy smoke. And the market rents per unit is 979.
There you go. Now, if this were the best submarket in Dallas, that would be one thing, but it's not.
Daryl, is there a paper trail of the original price of 12.3?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want to know why the sudden increase.
Yeah.
Well, everybody expects to double their price in Dallas. The thing is, it was easy to double your price every 2 years, 5 years ago. You know, and then it was like, okay, it took you 3 years to double your price. Then it was 4 years to double your price. And now coming out of COVID, everybody wants to go back to 2 years.
Holy smoke. So let me see, if I was to say 100 units and greater, would it be any different if I said 100 units and greater? All right, it's coming. Yep, 100 units and greater, all of Dallas, C-class properties, 94,000 per unit.
And how much do they want?
We're coming in at, well, they're greater than me, so, and I'm coming in at
130?
121.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. But good point, Jim. This is great.
Holy smoke.
Okay, Harry, you had me turn the waiting room off. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the meeting.
Well,
okay. Allow participants to join before. Let me try to check this again. Anytime. Save. Okay, it looks like it updated that time.
Nice.
All right, and was there something else?
Yeah, that's it. You can actually try on a different browser right now. You know, send it to, or you can send it here. Or we can try on a different browser.
Well, so Zoom, if I open it up in a different browser, I can run two versions of Zoom at the same time?
On two different devices, though. Yeah, so open up your phone.
I know I can. I know I can do it on a different device. Well,
yes, you can, because I'm logged into two places now, a laptop and my desktop. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you can't do it on the same device with two different browsers. It has to be a different device.
Yeah, it has to be a different device, because I do it in the settings. It says allow participants to sign in on two different devices. That's in your settings.
Just give me a moment.
Well, we could all just hang up and then try to log back in, and I won't log in for a minute and see if you guys are all able to see each other in the waiting room.
And I can log into different browser at the same machine as well.
Mm-hmm. Jim, can I get a copy of this recording?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So,
come on in.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
How can we test this? Log in.
Well, what I can do, I can jump off from here, and then maybe if you can share that, and I'll try to log back in, with you.
Well, it's the same meeting link. It's a recurring meeting link. It doesn't change. Okay. So I would say that I think what I want to find out is, if I don't join, will you guys all be able to continue without me?
Okay. I guess we'll have to leave.
I'm going to end the meeting, and I'm going to request everyone to join back in if they would, and just help me out here for 5 minutes.
Sure.
And
okay.
I'm going to wait maybe a minute just to see if you guys can see each other, and then I'll join. And then I'll try to drop off again and see if you guys are allowed to stay on.
Okay.
And also, Jim, if somebody joins while you haven't joined, you will get a notification in an email that Harry joined the meeting or Alicia joined the meeting.
Yep.
So you'll see that as well.
Yeah.
And then,
because I do get a notification.
So let's do that.
So we're logging. We're,
right. I'm
leaving.
I'm going to end the meeting, and then everyone try to log back in.
Okay.